Call to order the Franklin County Board of Commissioners General Session.
Thanks.
Today is November 13th, 2018. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner O'Grady.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, first of all, I want to welcome everyone here today. Good morning, and thank you. Whoever said good morning back, thank you so much. Like to take this time to.
That was like being in church, you know. Good morning. The pastor says good morning. You know, you gotta say good morning back.
But so we're looking forward to later this week, not because later this week will be Friday. I know we're all looking forward to that day, of course. But Thursday, November 14th, is America Recycles Day. And Franklin County's recycling rate exceeds that of the national average. And it's something that we at the county work hard in our own waste management plans. Recycling also supports more than 5,000 jobs in Central Ohio. So visit swaco.org to learn more about how to recycle right in Franklin County. I know for myself, it helps that I got one of the blue bins inside of my house, and that actually helps us separate the recyclables out better. But even more so, it cuts down on the waste, the buildup of our trash can. Before my son went to college, our trash can would build up quickly, you know, with food and stuff like that. But now with the recycles, it doesn't build up as quickly. And so just really want to encourage everyone to visit your SWACO site and learn about the things that you can and cannot recycle. You can and cannot recycle. They produce these nice little magnets that go on the refrigerator that will help you make sure you're not putting things that can't be recycled into the recycling bin. And that's really important because the machinery that processes that stuff can be damaged really bad when you put certain items in recycle and they can't get them out before it goes into the machine. And so think hangers, for example. You wouldn't think that's a big deal, but when you put hangers into the recycling bin, if they don't catch them before they go into the machine, it can really damage the machinery. And so be thoughtful and be mindful about what you put in your recycle, and just take the few seconds that it takes to do it. I think it will make a difference for your household and, more importantly, for our environment.
I think we're ahead of the national average just simply based on my children. My oldest brother today, my second oldest brother, was the creator of the Southern Ohio Regional Recycling Terminal, which is was the first curbside recycling program in the state of Ohio. And so my family, growing up, my family was ahead of the curve. My mom was a recycling diva. She was all about it from the 1970s, and so we kind of grew up recycling. And then we taught our kids how to recycle from the time they were little. It was a chore. It was an assigned chore in the house from the time my kids were little. My wife became the Blue Bag program coordinator for Mayor Coleman about, I don't know, it's been 12, 14, 15 years ago. And so our kids grew up with it. And now whenever we have guests over to the house, if somebody throws something recyclable into the trash can, my kids literally yell at our guests. Because it's kind of a big thing. If anybody that's been to our house knows, we have it's obvious recycling at our house, and so you come to our house, you see it. It's right there. You recycle, and so if somebody throws like a can in the trash, my kids will start yelling at our guests. What are you doing? You don't do that. You can't. You don't throw cans in the trash. You have to recycle. And we have a big giant red recycling can from local waste in our garage, and so all the guests recycle. And our neighbors all have seen over the years all the recycling that we put out to the street, and it kind of became a trend in the neighborhood. And so now it's just, we recycle probably 5 to 6 times as much trash as we put actual trash out to the street. And so my daughter is in charge of recycling, my 10-year-old, and she complains every week that her job is way bigger than her big brother's job, who just takes out the trash. And so she doesn't think that that's fair, that she has to do more work than her 15-year-old brother. And so, she thinks she should get more allowance than he does. So
That's probably legit, man.
Well, I told her to negotiate it with her mother. So, but anyway, yes, it's a big deal, and we should be recycling more. We even get to the point in our house where we follow all the rules and we wash out everything so that there's no food in the containers, and we make sure that we're recycling the right number on the back of the recycling container, and so it's it's something that we'd like to teach more folks, and so go to what's the SWACO?
It's SWACO.org.
SWACO.org.
Yeah, that's SWACO.org. SWACO.org, and learn more. So
Great.
Recycle. All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 23rd, 2018 general session, and the minutes of November 1st and November 8th, 2018 briefing session?
Move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Moved and second in voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
The minutes have been approved.
Thank you. Jobs and Family Services. And I believe you have a guest with you today.
Resolution number 762-18. Resolution authorizing the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services Director to enter into a contract with Columbus State Community College for on-site case management services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joy Bivens, Director of Franklin County Job and Family Services. As the human services landscape continues to change, our agency remains committed to forging new integrated partnerships across sectors to better meet the needs of shared customers. In the spirit of collaboration, the agency is pursuing a new partnership with Columbus State Community College. Franklin County, we're calling it the Franklin County Student Success Program. That's correct, right, Rebecca? This program will provide an on-site access to case management services for students 20,000 plus, many of whom may be low income and come from traditionally underserved demographics. Franklin County Job and Family Services was Station 1 case manager full-time, 40 hours a week at Columbus State University to determine eligibility for SNAP, TANF, Medicaid, PRC, and any other additional services students may need. This model is being used across the country at other colleges such as Michigan State, Penn State, Dartmouth, University of Colorado, and the University of California, to name a few. We believe that many times when when you place services where customers are there at the point of contact, it would alleviate the disruption of the student not being successful at the college. So if the student is there able to access their services, then they don't have to jump a bus. They don't have to go apply online for anything. Go have a case manager on site at the moment where the client actually needs the service. Today we have Rebecca Butler here from Columbus State, who is able to share a little bit more about this partnership. Rebecca?
Please come forward. If you could just introduce yourself again, please.
Sure. Rebecca Butler, Columbus State Community College.
Welcome.
Morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Commissioners, thank you for having me here today and sharing a little bit about this innovative partnership. As you know, Columbus State is a microcosm of Franklin County. And at Columbus State, our mission is to ensure that students don't have to tell their story more than one time. This partnership with Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services allows us to do just that. Many of our students are food insecure, many of them are housing insecure, have childcare needs, and all of those out of the classroom needs are important to student success, because when those needs are alleviated and those barriers are reduced, it is national evidence that the student success and likelihood for student success increases. So what we will be doing with Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services is not only having a full-time caseworker on campus at our Student Central, which is our student one-stop, but it will also allow us as Columbus State and Franklin County to come together and learn from each other in terms of professional development and knowledge transfer, all to benefit citizens of Franklin County. So I am so excited to be working with Director Bivens. You should know that she has been tremendous, and the entire department have really leaned into this innovative partnership. It is our desire for all students at Columbus State to have an academic plan, a financial plan, and a career services plan. And this is an integral foundation to the financial stability plan for all of our students. So thank you for allowing me some time today.
And Commissioners, I just want to make mention that Rebecca and I will be working together collectively with both of our organizations to utilize data to track students. So if a student ever engaged with our agency, we're going to try to utilize data to track the student to see if their education was disrupted or was not disrupted during the time of access while they're at the college, which we think is really important.
Yeah, if I could ask Dr. Butler a couple questions. I'm curious, what % of students at Columbus State are first-generation college? Do you know?
So sometimes that's hard to track because students won't self-disclose that. But we estimate that about 40% of our students are first generation.
Mm-hmm. And I asked that question because I just can imagine how that can be the difference maker. If you can't stay at school and you're sort of dealing with a generational poverty and economic mobility, and then the slightest thing can deter you
Right.
and just send everything backwards, spiraling backward. And that's why it just seems so critical and so obvious that this is going to be a helpful resource to those students.
That's absolutely right. We also know that we have about 17,000 students who will get to 30 credit hours. They'll get halfway to their degree, and then they are academically successful, but they'll drop off. And the reason they don't come back is because of all of the non-academic barriers to success. So it's often childcare needs, food insecurity needs, housing insecurity needs. So again, as much as going beyond referral to doing actual case management on campus is absolutely a game changer for our students.
And I want to thank Rebecca and Columbus State Commissioners, because the other advantage of this partnership, having on-site case management services, is that individuals who happen up on the campus who may not be students but is a client of Job and Family Services will have an opportunity to engage with that case manager on that campus, since the service is already there, versus jumping a bus or trying to come to one of our opportunity centers in the community. So thank you, Rebecca and Columbus State, for allowing us to do that. So it's operating as a satellite service.
Rebecca, it's interesting that you mentioned the barriers to success. It's a familiar refrain that we hear, and not just with academics, not just with in an academic setting. And so it's interesting that you raised that. Thank you for your service on our Poverty Steering Committee. And it's interesting that we note on the steering committee that education is one of the barriers that we find to success, and one of the barriers that we're one of the many barriers that we're seeing in this issue that we're trying to address in poverty in our community. And so thank you for the service that you have or that you've been providing on the committee, so this is going to be strong work, and this partnership is something that we value. And so thank you, and thank you to Dr. Harrison and the Columbus State. What is the enrollment right now at Columbus State?
We have about 27,000 students, and that includes online in our regional centers. So at any time on our campus, at the Columbus campus, it's around 17,000 at any one time.
So this is an impactful work that we're doing here. It's a partnership. So thank you.
Yeah,
Indeed,
Commissioner, I was going to say, Commissioner Gray, I'm glad you brought up the Poverty Commission and that we've been working on, because embedded in that has been this conversation around students and how much they impact the region in terms of poverty. But I will share with you, I was with Dr. Harrison a couple of weekends ago, and he raved, Director Bivens, about us putting this person on campus. And I mean, this is something that, oftentimes presidents, they have so much to think about and so much to do, they don't really get into sort of that granular of service. But he spoke at length about how valuable this was, and went out of his way to come over and tell me that. And I just think that illustrates Columbus State's gratitude and appreciation for this partnership in making Central Ohio stronger. So I just want to recognize Dr. Harrison. He was all over it. He was all over it. So it's an exciting relationship, I think.
And for the community that is watching us right now, this partnership is effective in January 2019. We are working out the details. Our staff will be doing some cross-training with the Columbus State staff. We are going to, Columbus State has graciously agreed to not only just have our staff on their campus, but they're going to immerse our staff person in their culture so that as many professors, as many Columbus State staff that are on that campus that interact with students are aware of who these people are and what they do so they can direct these students to our staff person.
Commissioner Boyce and Commissioner O'Grady, you mentioned Dr. Harrison and his leadership and the partnership first approach that we take. And so this partnership is truly incredibly important. And to Director Bivens' point, it is our intent that the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services caseworker is a Columbus State team member. So he or she will be part of the Student Central team. They will be at staff meetings. They will be at college-wide convenings because really we are in this together to the benefit of the county.
That's
Well,
great.
and the reason I brought this up and the reason why I thought this was such a fantastic partnership, when we were putting together the steering committee, and when I called you
Yeah.
and asked if you would serve, it was early on that we realized in this steering committee in addressing this poverty, this issue that the group, all of us realized that education was going to be such a huge part of addressing the poverty issues and the poverty concerns that we aren't going to be able to move forward, climbing out of this problem that we have with poverty in our community if we aren't addressing education issues and education concerns. If we're not educating folks, if we aren't figuring out how to help young people, well, for that matter, middle-aged folks, if we aren't educating the community across the board, regardless of age, young folks, from toddlers on up, if we're not helping them throughout the generations address educational concerns, we're never going to help folks, find a way out of poverty. And so Columbus State, we believe, is going to be at the very forefront of that issue with us and helping us do that. So this partnership is integral. And so thank you. Thanks for being a part of it all.
Oh, thank you. It is absolutely our pleasure. Thank you.
You guys have been great partners with us on many fronts, and
Yes.
so this is just another one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's what my resolution, my iPad went dead. I'll do it on paper. My resolution is resolutions, move approval of resolution 06218.
0762.
076218. Thank you.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 762-18 has been adopted. Resolution number 763-18, resolution approving a subaward agreement with Central Community House on behalf of the Columbus Federation of Settlements for case management and barrier removal services in the amount of $180,000.
Commissioners, as you know, Ohio Works First cash assistance customers are required to participate in work participation activities in order to receive their benefit. While our staff and contracted partners work closely with customers to ensure compliance, some unfortunately fell between the cracks and do not meet those requirements. For the past 4 years, we've worked with the Central Community House, the Clintonville Beechwood Community Resources Center, and St. Stephen's to connect sanctioned families to address the underlying causes contributing to noncompliance through the Family Advocates Program. Under the proposed terms, we will continue to refer sanctioned families to Central Community House and its partners. Pending any questions, we would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Move approval of 076318.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 763-18 has been adopted. Resolution number 764-18, resolution approving a subaward agreement with Community Mediation Services of Central Ohio in the amount of $280,000.
Commissioner, early this year, our agency partnered with Community Mediation Services to provide support for a TANF eligible customers facing eviction as a part of our broader strategy to help combat homelessness. The 2-hour eviction prevention education workshops target tenants at high risk of eviction and those experiencing homelessness who will be seeking housing in the future. The funding will allow CMS to continue to provide both tenant and landlord mediation and eviction prevention trainings for TANF eligible customers. In addition to this contract, Commissioners, as you are aware, we changed our PRC plan. We extended some of the services so that we could place a case manager in the eviction court so that customers have on-site place-based services at the time of being faced with the legal system. So in addition to this contract, our case manager in the eviction court, this was a broader plan for our PRC plan. And pending any questions, I would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Move approval of 76418.
Before I second, I would like to find some time, Director, if you could. I know my staff's going to know when that's when I say this, but I'd love to come over and sort of shadow the caseworker in mediation court one day,
Okay.
in eviction court one day, and just kind of see I think it's just critical work and important work. And I just maybe spend a couple hours one day. They're like, how's that's going to happen? But let's try to work that out. I'd love to do that.
Okay.
Maybe we could do it
And
together.
Commissioners, I need to also mention in December, I believe it is scheduled. I'm looking at you, Jody and Bart. It's in January. Oh, in January, we will be doing administrative sessions with the commissioners, showing them, since we've changed the PRC plan, how many individuals have utilized the extension of the services, how many have applied for housing. I mean, just so that you can see where the PRC plan and how effective we were in combating some of the eviction issues that we see.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can tie the visit connected to that time, and just kind of either before or right afterwards, just have a day's worth of. And I would just add too, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that in the budget I look for really effective programming and things where we're
Okay.
really seeing we're making a difference statistically and.
Okay.
And so I'm starting to drill down now in some of the budget documents, but I will say that as folks come before the commission, that's where I'm zeroed in on, or what's working for you, what have you found that hasn't worked so much, where you're shifting, and the platform may not be the commission meeting itself, but it will be something that me or my staff follow up with and engage with the departments that we've been sort of zeroing in on. So I mean, that's a really good example of the kind of things I want to learn more about
Okay.
with regards to the budget. So thank you. And second.
Moved and second in voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 764-18 has been adopted.
Thank you, commissioners.
Oh, I thought this was in your part. Justice and policy programs.
Resolution number 765-18, resolution authorizing a contract between the Franklin County Board of Commissioners and the Corporation for Supportive Housing to provide a frequent user system engagement program in the amount of $660,776.56.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. I'm really excited and pleased to be able to bring this resolution forward. As you know, at least for the last 3 years, both when I was in Commissioner Brown's office directly and now downstairs in the Office of Justice Policy and Programs, we've been focused on making sure that we don't have folks in jail who don't need to be there. With our Stepping Up initiative and diverting folks with mental health and addiction, this is a complement to that. This will engage up to 50, at least 45, and up to 50 frequent users of the jail system and their families into supportive housing and connection to wraparound services to try to take these folks who are cycling from jail to homelessness to hospital and back to jail again, and give them that foundation that they need. We know that stable housing, affordable housing, is a known social determinant of health. It's very difficult for folks to break that cycle of incarceration, homelessness, and hospital stay without stable housing. So we are tremendously excited to have been able to study this and now have the funding to bring forward to you with this resolution. We put this out for competitive bid via RFP. Thank you to the prosecutor's office and purchasing department for walking me through my first RFP. I'm sure that was joyful on their part. We had two bidders. The Corporation for Supportive Housing was the lowest and best bid. And we have with us this morning from the Corporation for Supportive Housing, Katie Kitchen. Katie, you want to come up? And Katie can describe a little bit more about the program itself and the types of services that folks will be receiving.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Katie Kitchen. I'm the director of the Corporation for Supportive Housing Ohio program. We're located down here at the Y. FUSE, the Frequent User System Engagement, is an initiative that developed in New York actually by our organization in combination with New York Corrections about 7 years ago. It was found to essentially pay for itself by providing supportive housing with stabilizing behavioral health interventions. for the most frequently incarcerated individuals. So we're really delighted to be here to partner with the county. Yet again, Franklin County will be an innovator and a leader in this area. We're very hopeful that this can be a model for other communities across Ohio.
Fantastic. Well, good. Move approval of 765-18.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 765-18 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 766-18, resolution authorizing a professional services contract with Karen Leffler for peer support and recovery coaching services in the amount of $20,800.
Commissioners, Ms. Leffler has been working for us for about a year as a peer support specialist. She does an amazing job. The current contract that we have with her has expired, and we're asking you to approve a contract through the end of next year so that she can continue that work.
Move approval of 766-18.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 766-18 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Community partnerships, and we do have a speaker for this next resolution.
Resolution number 767-18, resolution authorizing a contract amendment with the Affordable Housing Trust for Columbus and Franklin County to support the production of affordable housing units.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dana McCrary, Community Partnerships. This resolution will allow us to amend the contract that we have with the Affordable Housing Trust. This community partnership, as you may know, is funded through the permissive real estate conveyance fees. Thus far, in 2018, the collection of those fees have exceeded our projections. So this resolution would allow us to pay the Affordable Housing Trust the additional $324,610 that we have collected from conveyance fees. So pending any questions, I would request the approval of this resolution.
We do have a speaker here today, Jacob Cunlife. Please come forward. Please keep your remarks to 3 minutes, and let's make sure I read all these rules. If you could keep your remarks to this item as well, and I'd ask that you refrain from obscenity, commercial advertising, defamation, or slander, or any other thing that would be considered disorderly conduct for this public meeting. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady,
It's just the rules. I didn't make that up. It's what it says here.
commissioners and others seated, thank you. My name is Jake Cunliffe. My friend and I are from the BREAD organization located on 404 South 3rd Street. BREAD stands for Building Responsibility, Equality and Dignity. We are a non-profit, non-partisan Franklin County community organization founded in 1996. We are made up of nearly 40 member congregations that are racially, religiously, geographically, and socio-economically diverse. We work to solve a range of serious community problems. We do not provide direct service, but rather direct action, meaning we address the community problems that create victims. We do this each year by bringing together thousands of people at an event in May called our Nehemiah Action, where we press for solutions to community problems. Out of our annual listening process last fall, in which our members talk about problems in the community, we heard about many of the problems faced by youth and their families. We met with over 40 agencies working to meet the needs of youth and families. They told us about the lack of truly affordable housing. As we started researching what could be done about housing, we first looked at the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, since BREAD pushed very hard for the establishment of the trust fund previously. We believe that it has been very effective and efficient. As we look at other strategies being considered to address housing issues, we're concerned that many of the current strategies are exclusively targeted to people who make 80% or more of the area median income, around about $42,000 or more a year. We're also concerned that there are not enough solutions in place to really affect the 54,000 low-income households targeted by the Affordable Housing Alliance. From the 20,000 people in our congregations, we've been hearing stories from our members about how difficult it is to find safe, decent, affordable housing. We're glad to hear about the increase in the trust fund, but would like to know, when will the conveyancing fee be increased?
That concludes your remarks? Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us today. I think the BREAD organization is well known as an organization that is an advocate for strong things for Central Ohio, so we appreciate those of you who are here today representing BREAD. I think, I don't want to speak for Commissioner O'Grady, certainly not Commissioner Brown, but I know for myself, whenever we consider raising fees or taxes, there is a process that has to take place. I don't think there's, without question, an understanding about the need for more affordable housing in Central Ohio, but how we get there and what we do is, I think, where the rubber meets the road, and that's part of what we're doing now with the Affordable Housing Coalition that's been created to help this community think through what role we all have to play. It's not just Franklin County's role to provide for affordable housing. That is inclusive of all the municipalities in Central Ohio. That's inclusive of other governmental agencies, the state of Ohio. And so we want to be thoughtful about a long-term plan, a long-term strategy, and more importantly, how do you mitigate the cost to everyone? When you raise a fee or you raise a tax, ultimately there will be an effect to people. That's real money, real cost. And for the conveyance fee, that's typically someone who's buying a home for the first time, or maybe not their first time, but and so you're raising those costs. And so I'm just saying that to say that while we all recognize the need for affordable housing, we want to be thoughtful about how we come up with long-term solutions that have sustainable practices to them. And so thank you for your advocacy. I don't know, Commissioner Grady, if you want to add your comments there, but
You gave a good enough answer.
Okay. So,
Thank
any
you for
other
your
comments or questions?
answer. Yeah, just to note, our understanding is a $1 increase in the conveyance fee would bring about an additional nearly $6 million revenue. So we're aware of those numbers that came from the Affordable Housing Alliance. Thank you for your answer.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there a motion for Resolution 767?
Move approval of Resolution 767-18.
Second.
Moved and second in voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 767-18 has been adopted.
Thank you. Community purchasing, rather.
Resolution number 768-18, resolution authorizing appropriation adjustments for capital purchases.
Good morning, Commissioners. Carl Cusick,
Morning.
Director of Purchasing. This resolution is requesting additional appropriation adjustments for capital purchases for general services. The Fleet Management Division of General Services is requesting a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $71,112 within the Fleet Capital Fund to purchase 3 hybrid vehicles and supplies. The Purchasing Division of General Services is requesting appropriations in the amount of $14,339 in order to close out an existing lease agreement and for a new lease agreement on 3 mail machines. Is also requesting appropriations in the amount of $7,845 in order to purchase the final equipment necessary to complete the equipment requirements for the print consolidation project between the data center and print shop. The Purchasing Division has sufficient appropriations within materials and services to transfer to capital outlays for the purposes described above. Pending any questions, I recommend approval of this resolution.
Move approval of 768-18.
Second.
Moved and second in voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 768-18 has been adopted. Resolution number 769-18, resolution approving purchases with various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,518,163.51.
Commissioners, this resolution before you request your approval of 120 purchase orders. For small emerging business enterprises, there were 62 eligible purchase orders, which 12 went to SEBEs, which equals 19.3% of the eligible purchase order volume. Their purchase order dollar amount is $105,553.20, which is 23.19% of the eligible purchase order dollar value. Eligible purchase orders are those where the SEBEs are likely to participate. These purchase orders have been pre-certified as available to be funded by the county auditor. Pending any questions, I recommend their approval.
Move approval of 769-18.
Second.
Moved and second in voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 769-18 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 770-18, resolution authorizing non-general fund supplemental appropriations and a transfer of funds for the payment of debt service.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Choleric with the Office of Management and Budget. This resolution will authorize the necessary appropriation adjustments and transfers to make the county's December 1st debt service payment Included in that payment is the redemption of the one-year note that was issued for the completion of the money back and Brown Road projects last year, the redemption of the Series 2009 maturities that was authorized last month, as well as the first interest payment from the excess premium for the sales tax-backed bonds issued in June. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Move approval of 77018.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 770-18 has been adopted. Resolution number 771-18. Resolution reappointing Terrence Williams and William R. Hefner to the Columbus Regional Airport Authority.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Janis, Deputy Administrator. A reminder that one of these two appointments is a joint appointment with the City of Columbus. Pending any questions, would recommend approval of the resolution.
Move approval of 77118.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 771-18 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any generalizations?
There's none, Commissioner.
Thank you. That concludes our meeting. Thank you.